In this video, I just want to give you a primer on self-healing cutting mats for sewing and quilting. It is basically a material that self-heals so that when you run a rotary blade over it, there will be a little slice and then the material just says, nope, we're not going to leave that there. So you do want to be careful and make sure you're always wiping any threads and fuzz off of your mat to extend the life of that mat. Now, there are many different sizes and colors, so let's talk a little bit about that. This one is one of my favorites. It is 18 by 24. I do wish it was a little bit bigger, but it is still my favorite for this reason. It is white and nice and bright on the one side, and it flips over and it is black on the other side. That is so convenient, especially as my eyes get older. So if you have the dark side up and you're trying to cut darker fabrics, it is a lot harder to see where you're going and where everything is being lined up than if you use the white side. But take a look at this. If I want to cut a light fabric, and especially a white fabric, it is super easy to line that up because the contrast is there. The same applies, but in the opposite order when you turn this back to the white side. Me trying to cut white when I have white on there, and then I'm grabbing a ruler and I'm trying to get these lines lined up with the edge of that white, it is so hard to see. I'm not going to be as accurate as if I do the same thing on the other side. Not only can I see my fabric, but when I put my ruler there, it's really easy to see the markings and whether they are on the edge of the fabric or not. Put this darker fabric down, it is a lot harder to see. Maybe you want something bigger, because there are definitely times where I want something bigger when I'm cutting the edges of a quilt and things like that. So I, of course, have more than one cutting mat. This is another one. This is from Ulfa that I've had for a long time, and it is 36 inches wide, so it's a yard wide and 24 inches this way. So pretty much double the size of my white and black one. This is great when I'm cutting longer strips, doing longer projects, but it is, again, a little bit more difficult when you're using a darker fabric to cut on this dark color. Now, you'll also notice that there are marking differences. So the Ulfa is marked at every inch, and only in the center and here and in this grid is it marked the ½ inch, the ¼ inch, and the 1/8 inch. Whereas the Riley Blake Designs has solid lines every inch, dashed lines every ½ inch, and dotted lines every ¼ inch. So you have a lot more going on for guidelines, not just on the outside, but all throughout the mat than you do on this. But there are no diagonal lines to help you. Where you do have, this is the 45-degree line, you have 60 and 30-degree lines as well. So you can pivot your fabric and get those angles cut with the help of your mat. Fiskars is another readily available brand, and they have this green. It has the angled lines, it's got dots every ¼ inch, it's got the lines. It is a yard wide by 24, so it's the same size. You can't feel this, but the material is a little bit stiffer than this one. So I don't think the self-healing on this one is going to last quite as long as it is on this. Cutting mats are another one of those things where you kind of get what you pay for. The more expensive it is, probably the more help it's going to give you in the markings, and the longer it is going to last because it's going to have better self-healing factors to it. Now, in addition to the big flat self-healing mats, you can also get rotating mats. These are super convenient if you become a big quilter, because when you're trimming blocks and they're kind of small and you have to trim every side, it's much easier and more accurate and faster to be able to put it down, keep the ruler in place, and just move your mat instead of moving your material to get the correct angle for cutting. This cute pink one is by Sue Daly, and it's manufactured by Riley Blake Designs. The markings are a bit lighter than they are on this one, so I will say this is my preferred. The one you're going to use the most are the big flat cutting mats. So get the biggest that you can fit in your workspace. Hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more about what to look for and what some of the different markings are on self-healing mats.